Over the years, marketers have been analyzing the different generations, baby boomers, Gen X, millennials, and recently we have seen there's a red thread among all of them: speed. They all want everything to happen now. My name is Francisco Serrano, and I am the Chief Speed Officer at One to One and the host of the Now Gen podcast. Join me. Each episode, we talk about what's happening with brands, see how brand professionals across different industries cope with this fast-changing market, and live up to the expectation of this now generation. Welcome.
This episode is brought to you by One to One, the fastest day-to-day design and content studio. For more than 17 years, One to One has been their premier partner for many Fortune 500 companies, proving that tight deadlines shouldn't be a hassle.
Hello, and welcome to the Now Gen podcast. This is another interesting episode, and today I have a very interesting guest. Her name is Janet Oak. She is a Chief Brand Officer at Eastside Distilling. You know, Janet has a lot of background as far as connecting with the consumer at different points, different touch points. And this conversation is going to be understanding how the craft market and the liquor and the beer industry is influencing the now generation. So I would like to welcome Janet to the show. Hello, Janet. How are you?
Hi, it's so great to be here. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for accepting this invitation and talking to us about this wonderful experience, which is the journey of the instant gratification market. So before we get into topic, tell us a little bit about you and where you're at, about a little bit about Eastside brands.
Okay, great. Yeah, so I started my career as a trend hunter and ethnographer, immersing in the youth market and skate parks and video game arcades. I became known as an expert actually in youth culture. And I started up the Kids and Family Center of Excellence at Ipsos, which is the third largest market research company in the world. I then transitioned to lead research and analytics for some of the top social media, streaming, platform, and entertainment companies. And most recently, I took the leap to a pure play marketing role as the Chief Brand Officer for a public craft distillery in Portland, Oregon called Eastside Distilling. We have two divisions, craft canning and craft spirits. And I can talk about some of our brands if that's of interest.
Yes, of course. I was, peeking in your website as we invite different exciting brands into the show. I saw that you have a tequila brand right there. And given our background, I'm from Guadalajara, very close to the tequila town. And also you have all different sorts of, why don't you tell us about that?
Absolutely. So we have a brand called Azuña Tequila, which is a single estate grown organic tequila. It's one of the very few that are actually organic. We have 4 different products under that, award-winning products, quite tasty. We also have a 4 times distilled potato vodka called Portland Potato Vodka. We have a line of Burnside whiskeys, which are uniquely aged in Oregon oak barrels, the only whiskey that is aged in Oregon oak. We have, lastly, a fair trade single origin coffee rum from Guatemala.
Wow, coffee rum so is that when I hear the products and the brands that you have, I see innovation at its best, right? I see organic tequila, coffee, rum. Is that a thing? Why all this sophistication?
Well, because we know that the market is crowded, and so we need to do things to stand out, to find white space opportunities. But we also know that consumers are demanding unique experiences and unique products that they can't get anywhere else. We also are based in Portland, Oregon, which is a very unique place, and our products embody the spirit of that place.
Oh, tell me more. What do you mean?
So we did quite a bit of work around what makes Portland, Oregon unique, because really that is where we're growing, and that's where we are. And we landed on the idea that actually Portland is unapologetically original. And so that is the way that we think about all of our products and brands, that they may harken back to the spirit of Portland, Oregon, and that they are all embody this spirit of being unapologetically original.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Talking about original, I'm a moderate drinker. I have to say, it's not just that I do a lot of that, but I do like that. And I've seen there's a lot of, the craft world has obviously invaded the beer market, and I don't know how much has influenced to jump into the liquor. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. I mean, I have some facts that might be of interest, but the IWSR has said that the craft spirits experienced volume growth of 8% in 2020, and regular non-craft spirits only grew 5%. So we can see that the craft segment is growing quite significantly. And then we also see that value share is expected to reach double digits by 2024 of craft spirits. So craft spirits have overtaken even spirits. And then if we are interested in talking about additional innovation, we are innovating in the RTD segment, which is even more explosive. In fact, RTDs are predicted to grow faster than the overall spirits category, or to become larger actually than the overall spirits category.
Okay, so I'm sorry, what is RTD?
I'm sorry, the ready to drink. So the canned cocktails that are made of spirits.
Oh yeah, I have a teenager for sure. I know that they're growing, and
We
not a
don't
teenager,
market to
sorry.
teenagers. We only market to 21 plus.
21 plus, sorry, yes, she's not a teenager anymore. No, but I've seen that a lot of, this people, college students or early workers at the companies, they go out and that's just what they drink. And is this like, does this have to do with the generation that we were talking offline, you and I, about the, people want instant gratification? Is that does that have any relationship, looking for craft and looking for, I want to satisfy now, is that related in a way?
Absolutely, yeah. So, and especially during the pandemic, when the bars were closed and consumers needed drinks that were convenient, a drink that's pre-made in a can is highly convenient, and that's what drove that trend. But now spirits-based ready-to-drinks are overtaking sort of those malt-based ready-to-drinks. So people want the full spirit experience in a can. And so interesting you talk about sort of this personalization, because Eastside, our craft canning division, we do canning for actually local breweries, wineries, cideries, and also for our own spirits. And we've just purchased a digital printer from a German company. There's only actually 10 in the world, and we're the only one on the West Coast. And what's interesting about a digital printer is that you can customize every single can. So, we're sponsors of the Portland Trailblazers. We could actually create a can specific to the Lakers game next Wednesday. So wow. It's a really exciting innovation. And what's even more exciting is that with regular cans, they actually aren't recyclable because of the label, the adhesive label. Yeah. Because these are digitally printed, these things can actually go right into the recycling. So they're highly sustainable.
Okay, sustainable, like it. Cost-wise, is it too high? Because I've heard in the past that that Miller is going to do a special Super Bowl drink for the winner, and they don't know if they're going to be the winner, the team that they are supporting or whatever, and they do just a badge for some specific event. But the company pays for that because of branding reasons and positioning their brand. In this case, you were doing it to sell the product, I assume, or it's not just for branding or supporting marketing purposes for brands. It's
So,
really to make the consumer sell, or no.
so just a regular adhesive label that's printed, it takes 6 to 8 weeks just to print that. And then it has to be put onto the can. So the time that takes, and it's highly expensive for those materials. And so with a digital printer, you can actually change out the design like on the spot. And as I said, you could have a separate design for every single can. It's much less expensive. The time to make something is immediate. There isn't a 6-week lag time. And there's less waste of the ink. There's less waste of cans that are printed incorrectly, or the labels put on incorrectly. So it's actually faster for people. It's less expensive for people. And as I said, it's more environmentally friendly than the way that it's currently being done. And as you said, it ties directly into the personalization trend, which is I want a can that has my name on it, or my team on it, or my my city on it, or however so choose to customize.
I even did I you guys did something with Pepsi, right? With Frito-Lay or with something like that.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you did?
Sure. We partnered with Lay's potato chips, and they sent us their proprietary potatoes, and we distilled potato vodka in our own distillery, and we mixed it with our Portland potato vodka, and we created an incredibly delicious and very tasty Lay's potato vodka made by Eastside Distilling, and we put it for sale, and it sold out in just over 2 hours. And we had over 1 billion impressions with just different social media posts and editorial posts, and just got a lot of attention in a very short period of time. So it was very exciting innovation for both them and for us. And now they have a couple hundred of our bottles they're taking to the Super Bowl for some of their top retail customers.
Wow, that's exciting. Well, kudos on that.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Janet. It's not an easy thing to be on the Super Bowl, right? I mean,
well, in their suites at the Super Bowl, in the Frito-Lay suites.
but anyways, you're there. I mean, I'm sure you're going to take advantage of that in your social media for sure. But this personalization has pushed your marketing tools to e-com, or it's just the same. How does the e-com world, digital world, engages with you and this personalization to make it more agile to deliver experiences to consumers?
Yeah, so we have quite a few sort of brand experiences that are underway, and we're really excited about it. One of them is a partnership with American Forests, because as I said, that our whiskey is aged in Oregon oak, which is a tree that's threatened, actually only grows in Oregon down to sort of the Northern California. And so we donated $10,000 to American Forests so they can plant 5,000 Oregon oak trees. And we're going to be doing some live sort of tree plantings with our consumers. I don't know if you saw the Bush Beer did a pop-up in the forest. So, we're hoping to do these kinds of tree plantings and pop-ups, but then people would sort of get to personalize those trees that they planted. And the products then would be personalized for those plantings as well. So the cans, for example, might say something about, I planted a tree in the Willamette Valley, for example, an Oregon oak tree.
Wow. Well, I remember we did something with Ferrero and the Nutella brand. You could put your name and personalize it, and you have your Nutella jar and it had your name, right? Or Coke. I remember that Coke did it too, right? With
the share with campaign, right? You share with an alumni, share with, and then all the names on it.
Yeah. So that again, it's personalization. But and do you feel that the liquor market, it's so let me put it this way: do you think that e-com has helped the liquor market, or no? Or you because of all the age restrictions and shipping in different states, and does that represent a challenge for you guys?
So direct to consumer has grown quite significantly in the spirits business, but e-commerce is quite challenging because it is a 3-tier distribution system We still need to go through, state registration. We still have to go through a distributor. We have to go through a retailer before it even gets to the customer. So while we do have products for sale at shop.eastsidedistilling.com, it's invisible to the consumer, but it's going to take a little while because it's got to go to the distributor, to the retailer, and then ship to the customer. So it's a little more challenging than just selling a regular good.
Okay, and what about retail? I know that a lot of retailer brands that are being threatened by e-commerce, and they want you to go back and have that experience, physically, face to face. Are you guys doing something different in order to make sure that it's a different experience pre-COVID than post-COVID?
Yes. So one of the other things that we're sponsoring in Oregon is the Hood to Coast, which is a 197-mile relay race from Mount Hood to the coast. We're a gold sponsor and a sustainability sponsor, but they have races all during the year where we do sampling and we engage local bars and restaurants and retailers to carry our products so that people after the race can enjoy a delicious beverage. And we're
Wow.
planning to do, as I said, we're also a sustainability sponsor. We're planning to do a big beach cleanup at the end when they end up on the coast. There's lots of trash that gets, built up with people coming off the race, and people watch the race. There's bibs and whatever that people drop. And so after we do sampling, we're going to hold a major beach cleanup. And for every bag of trash that's handed in, we'll give out some kind of a token so they can go enjoy one of our beverages.
Oh, so I see that you guys are pretty big into sustainability and to, loyalty to what your roots are, et cetera, right? So
Yep.
Is that something you feel that it's a trend in your industry, or you're just trying to be, like you were saying, different?
Well, I mean, as you said, this is a generation that's very fickle. They're on to the next thing, first everything, it's explosive growth, and then they're on to the next thing. So the way that we see building loyalty with consumers is to build them on shared values. We know that this generation votes with their dollars. They stay away from companies that don't support the things they believe in, and they give financial, in the form of spend, rewards to companies that do support the things that they care about. And so that's why things like sustainability are really important. It's a value that we know people care about, and it's something that we're very passionate about. I personally am very passionate. I've spent a lot of time, thinking about how we can spend corporate dollars to make the world a better place, and also show returns and drive business results. And that's something that I'm just personally passionate about. But again, I think consumers not only buy products from companies that have the same values as them, but they also work for companies that have the same shared values. And so that's the way that we think about building loyalty.
Wow, completely concur. I even wrote a book. It's called Branding. Branding is, from my perspective, is taking branding to the next level. And that is not just focusing on the pretty website, but put your brand at the center of it all with, your values, and make sure that everybody is aligned. Community, the consumer, your employees, your partners, everybody, like what you're saying. So it's interesting, right? That we are even connected to that level also, marketers, because I mean, I don't know, Janet, but as marketers, we have a challenge of honesty and transparency, and just trying to reflect to the consumer who we really are. You've seen all this honest marketing pieces from Dove and from Target now is starting to put real people behind all the advertising, right? Not just what people want to hear. So it's just like, okay, let's be honest, and this is what we are. And if you like it, that's great. And if not, go look for somebody or some brand that you might like, right? So, and the trend that we are seeing, as well as you, is to meet that constantly changing demand of uh, instant gratification, and that to a level is very, very complicated as a marketer, but is also interesting to 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 follow. As a leader and as an expert in your field, given the fact that there's a lot of brand managers and people that are marketing managers that are working in the industry, what would you say to them right now, with all your experience of being, all your background? How would they confront this, this changing and instant gratification generation? What would you say to them? One takeaway that they can, take with them today and they can start using with their small or big brands?
Yeah, it's a really good question because I do mentor quite a bit. What would I say to them? I mean, again, I would say what I just said, which is be authentic, is what you just said. I mean, I think that's the right word, right? Be authentic, because people can see through it, and, don't cause slap, which is, or greenwash is what people call it, like really authentically commit to the causes that you care about and make sure that those causes are aligned with the single most important thing you want to say about your brand. I mean, make sure there's no disconnects. Like that's the most important thing, that everything is aligned and credible and done in an authentic way. That's what I would say. Build authentic relationships based on truths.
Okay. Yeah, it matches completely with, because if you try, just supporting what you're saying, if you try to keep everybody happy and give everybody what they're looking for, and you are not really aligned to that, that's gonna, in the long run, is gonna become a problem for you and from the brand and the consumer, because it's gonna be a disconnect.
Yeah,
Like,
we used to say in the advertising business, if you try to be everything to everyone, you end up being nothing to nobody. something to that effect.
yeah, and in the corporate world, I don't know if that applies to your company, but in the corporate world, this trying to please not only externally but internally does make a huge challenge, because you want to work within the constraints of internal policies, but also outside, is the right thing to do. So being out there and, for me, it's amazing that you're aging your products in a product that comes from a town that is just it. You can tell stories about that all day, and that can generate a lot of loyalty that can lead to something big, right? So okay, so well, before we closed out this interview, is there anything else you want to say, or you want to tell us?
Oh, I don't have any closing thoughts other than thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And I hope that what I said was useful, but certainly, circle back if you have any questions or follow-ups, or if any of your listeners have any questions, I'm available.
Perfect. Where they can reach you, in LinkedIn, or where's the best way that they can reach out?
Sure. They can reach me on LinkedIn, or janet@eastsidedistilling.com. Send me an email.
Okay, great. So LinkedIn, as always, is a professional network to connect. That's good. Excellent. So before we go, we come to a fun segment of this show, and we want to play with brands here and there, and want to know what professional branders in your industry think of other brands, right? So if I would ask you, which two brands that come to your mind right now related to breakfast, why they come to your mind, and yeah, just share with us your impressions of breakfast general. Not, can be a juice, can be a cereal, can be muffins, can be, top of mind, and why.
Wow. Celsius is the first thing that came to my mind because that's what I have for breakfast.
There you go. Tell me a brand that you normally
Yeah, so
consume.
I really like Celsius. It's delicious, and it's got a lot of health benefits, and I love the caffeine. And it's a breakfast energy drink. I drink it before I go to the gym and before I eat anything. I love it. And I think their social media marketing is brilliant. And that's a brand that I admire. And we're hoping to partner with them actually in one of the sponsorships that we're doing.
No, really?
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, my son, he's in college and he loves that before going to gym.
Yeah.
I wish I can say that I go to the gym, but I have to be more disciplined at that. Okay. So Celsius, any other one that comes to mind, Janet?
I'm also a big tea drinker, so I drink a lot of tea. So Tazo tea is my go-to chai tea.
Oh,
And
chai tea. Okay.
yeah, I guess I just like that energy boost in the morning. I'm a morning person, but I like to, really power my mornings with caffeine and
That's good. I mean, to turn the lights on and say, "Come on, I'm ready for you."
That's right.
Yeah, good. Good. Well, okay. Well, thank you very much, Jeanette. We're wrapping this one out. So we've been talking to Janet Oak, Chief Brand Officer at Eastside Distilling. Where can people reach out to you? We already saw that is in LinkedIn. And thank you so much for your time, for your teachings. And we'll be in touch in the future because normally we would have more a second row of our guests coming with a different topic that I will let you know when that is the time. And but thank you so much for participating here with us today.
Thank you. I appreciate the time. You're great.
Excellent. No, thank you. Excellent. If you want to learn more about the most relevant power brands in the industry, please do not forget to connect with the Now Gen podcast and stay tuned for the next episode.